This video and ones like it are made possible by my supporters on Patreon. If you want to have a say in what games and topics are covered on this channel, head over to patreon.com/Toogie24 and get involved. You can also head over to my Teespring store to buy shirts that you'll never wear in public. Link in the description. The year is 2004. Ugg boots are taking over the world. Nobody will leave Tina the hell alone at dinner time.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner.
And GTA San Andreas, World of Warcraft, and Halo 2 dominate the video game scene. Among those classics, two classics in their own right: ESPN, NHL 2K5, and NHL 2005. Okay, that might be a little bit of a stretch, but those two titles led the way for what looked to be another strong year for hockey video games. The year prior, along with EA and 2K's products, hockey fans got to enjoy the likes of NHL Hits Pro and a new title from Microsoft, NHL Rivals 2004, two games that we'll cover on the channel at a later date. While this was still a far cry from what some consider the glory years of the late 90s in terms of the amount of options and the amount of licensed NHL products that we had, we did still have options. Sweet, sweet, beautiful options.
There can be only one.
So what would 2004 bring to us? What would help NHL 2005 and 2K5 try to help numb the pain of the upcoming NHL lockout? Unfortunately, Pro would complete the Hits trilogy. Midway's classic would never see another release, and Rivals was a one and done. These two series would join a long list of numerous other defunct titles of the past few years, such as Konami's National Hockey Night, Fox's NHL Championship, Acclaim's NHL Breakaway Series, and 989 Sports Face-Off Series. Although that last one is where we begin our story for today, because as it turned out, 989 wasn't quite done with the hockey world just yet. Believe me when I say the studio deserves its own video to properly cover its very complicated history. At one time, a developer and publisher for Sony, who themselves were undergoing numerous key changes in this era, and eventually it was just a brand name for the company to trot out at their own convenience. I mean, just look at some of the games in their catalog. Twisted Metal, Siphon Filter, EverQuest, the horrific Spawn the Eternal, to licensed games for MLB, the NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, and of course the NHL. But as previously mentioned, by 2004, the NHL Face-Off series was dead, and 989 in all aspects wasn't too far behind, with most titles around this time being listed solely under the Sony Computer Entertainment branding. The exceptions being the long-standing MLB series that was just 2 years away from evolving into MLB The Show, with help from San Diego Studios, another Sony studio who were previously tied with 989. Again, it's a complicated history. The other? Well, that's the topic of today's video. Another kick at the can to compete with EA and 2K, and what would ultimately prove to be the penultimate domino to fall before EA would secure the reins as the sole NHL title on the market. Ladies and gentlemen, I play prevent defense on Madden. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Gretzky NHL 2005. The primary selling point of the game, unsurprisingly, is Wayne Gretzky. In fact, the entire game is centered around the Great One. From the ability to play as Wayne throughout different eras of his career, to the video tutorials that are presented by Wayne himself, to the thread that brings this entire game together, the Gretzky Challenge. Challenge mode provides you tasks to accomplish while you play the game. It can be as simple as scoring a goal or winning a fight, and as difficult as beating Wayne's personal records. Easier said than done for sure. For each task you complete, you earn points. With those points, you can unlock certain items such as alternate or vintage jerseys, in which there is a really solid selection in this game, including some very rare options such as Dallas's Motorist jersey and the 1994 Montreal Canadiens uni. You can also unlock the legendary Robo Enforcer. Although I'll be completely honest, I couldn't remember what that setting does, but other mode changes that exist are perhaps equally as interesting, including Big Head mode, Rowdy Crowd, and Disco Fever. If you want to save time, you can always enter the cheat to unlock everything instantly, but remember, cheaters never prosper, they just get to use sweet jerseys in Disco Fever mode. Another unlock you can get, the devs as a usable team. This was an instance of 989 being used as a brand as Page 44 Studios took the reins for Gretzky 05, known primarily as an assisting studio helping with prior gen versions of Madden 10, 11, and 12, along with the absolute peak of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series with Project 8 and Proving Ground. They did go on to take the lead on such classics as High School Musical 3 Senior Year Dance, Disney Channel All-Star Party, You Draw Pictionary, and my favorite, Disney Princess Enchanting Storybooks. They were quickly snatched up by Zynga in 2011. Bazinga? So how did they fare with the rest of the game? Is Wayne the bright, shiny polish for this sidewalk turd? Well, I will say that this game is absolutely fine.
Okay, I'm just gonna jump in real quick. I hope you guys don't really mind. We're missing something in this review. The PlayStation Portable port of this game. Oh my god, it was amazing. I'm slightly biased on this because it was my first ever hockey game, but come on, you can bring hockey everywhere you go. What could go wrong with that? Obviously, there were some limitations with having one analog stick on the PlayStation Portable, but at the same time, you were still able to make the same moves, change settings around so that way you could have your face buttons use actual deeks instead. I also found an exploit if you pause the game where you're taking a slap shot, it'll cancel off the shot and it will freeze the goalie on the other team, and then you can just take another shot after and score. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Anyways, that's enough for me. Tuki, it's your show anyway, so yeah.
You have Rivalry Mode, which is a rather peculiar addition, giving you the ability to play up to 100 games against the same opponent. There is lifetime stat tracking, which makes it somewhat of an interesting idea, as this was the era of couch co-op, of course, being more prevalent and popular. But unless you had roommates or a sibling to consistently play this game against, it goes down as an idea that's good in theory, but poor in practice, especially when this game had online capabilities. In addition to these two modes, you had your typical practice and tournament modes, including the Stanley Cup playoffs and the World Cup, and it's worth shouting out the create a player and team features as well, with create a player featuring interesting attributes such as clutch factor, one-timers, and certain tendencies that we still don't see in NHL 22 today, as well as its iToy capability, essentially PlayStation's webcam, while create a team has some interesting jersey templates and arena customization options. Which brings us to the gameplay, which again is fine. It's more than suitable, with really solid pre-game presentation, including the national anthems. You have different on-the-fly strategies, a quick option for give-and-go passing, icon passing, a simple but fun fighting system. There's a lot of good, even if the gameplay is incredibly fast on the default settings, and the rink dimensions are gigantic, putting international arenas to shame. But with Doc Emmerich and Darren Pang on commentary to bring it all together, it was a very solid alternative to what EA and 2K were offering, I believe at a cheaper price point as well, and it was certainly to that point the best hockey offering under the 989 branding. And I say that because perhaps Gretzky 06, the sequel, would be able to top it, but that's a story for another day. In conclusion, I give Gretzky 2005 a 99 out of Zynga. Zynga? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my second channel, Tugi24, TWOGIE24, for all of my franchise mode content amongst numerous different sports games. And of course, there is the Tugi's Take podcast available in video form right here on YouTube and on any of your preferred audio platforms. Everything is linked in the description. A big thank you to my editor, Mr. Endo Mills, who's been knocking it out of the park. A big thank you to you for watching. Bazinga. So stupid. How did I turn a Gretzky 05 review into a fucking Big Bang Theory joke? Oh, God.